pivotal just at this time. Hello? What the hell? Hmm. Mhm. Hello? Okay, we back, y'all. So basically, if you're green, and sometimes like if she saves somebody today, and then that same person is somewhere else later, let's say 2 weeks from now, they might glow yellow. It just depends on what it is they have to do. That's all I'm saying, y'all. So you guys gonna learn about the temporal, the chronotemporal intuitiveness. Um, and some of the things like the ripples and in time and all of that. So you guys focus Focus today, because again, like I told you, this is the young lady from El Paso, Texas, that was 17 years old. She was a junior in high school, and now she looks like she's a 23, 24-year-old woman, right? Because her Cynanotech armor, it grew her up to her prime. And 17 years old is definitely not in your prime. So let's go ahead. Let me get this to you guys. Let you listen to this. And when we come back, I'll you know, I'll put it on, man. I'll come back and give you my little insight on what I feel needs to happen, or what inspired me, or and you guys can ask questions anytime you want to. So again, normally I don't really like to cheat people. I just like to let you guys know, hey, I'm serious about my craft. I'm out here doing it. And this is what I'm doing. If you got some, if you're an artist, an illustrator, somebody who draws, you into the big picture, and you say, hey, man, um, I probably can do a little task on the side, make something happen there. Maybe we can do something. And again, we try to get you paid up and everything. If you want percentages and whatnot, I mean, maybe we can discuss those things. But for right now, let me go ahead and give you this clip. Bring you up to speed about chronotemporal intuitiveness, okay? And Scorpio, this is for you guys. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew you were special too. I'm a Pisces myself, right? You know what I mean? I ain't to all these bugs and stuff, I swim free like fish. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this clip on y'all and let y'all get in it. Okay. All right, here we go. I know, I know, I know. Friction, time ceremonial order. Scorpio, Antares, Alpha Scorpii, PC.8M-A7. On planet Earth 3 weeks ago, a teenage girl played the game of her life. After a long and grueling season, the team finally faced the #1 softball team in El Paso, Texas. Once it was Mireille's turn at bat, things took a turn for the worse. When the bat connected with the ball, a shiny glowing object slammed into her body and she vanished. When she opens her eyes, she is no longer on Earth. She looks around, attempting to gain her bearings. She notices she's standing on a bubble like surface. As she cautiously takes a few steps, ripples are released throughout the bubble's surface. A voice echoes all around her, and a single ripple reverberates before her. Be still, recipient. There is much you need to know. You must be prepared to fight the threat coming to all realms. Murray watches with unbelieving eyes as the ripple molds into a very tall alien female. The female avatar appears to slide along strings of silk above the bubble. Then the female begins speaking to Murray. You have been selected to wield the cosmic inverter of time, recipient from dimension P.432-00. The cosmic treasure will grant you hyper-accelerated speed and temporal intuitiveness. The avatar standing before you is the original recipient of the time. She is an arachnoid species from planet Scorpio with dimension BC.8M-A7. It's decided that she will replace the designated recipient and assume responsibilities and guardianship of Scorpio. Even though she's over possibly losing her mind, Murray is quiet and watches the avatar's every movement. The alien speaks of the dimensional ripples caused when time's normal flow is disrupted or altered. Most ripples are gentle and flow with the stream of time, but sometimes there are temporal splays. A severe temporal splay can warp time and disrupt continuity, shifting and altering the time stream. The avatar reiterates how important it is to navigate between the ripples, how to prioritize between the fractions of a second.
Then the avatar stops and hangs from the strands of silk. It points to a specific moment in time and speaks. In this moment, there are three objects. Each is colored differently. For time to continue normally, only two can be disrupted. If the third object is destroyed or not allowed to continue forward, it may cause a temporal split. This will disrupt the temporal flow of time, which you cannot allow to happen. Ray understands and is given a color scheme. She chose a red, yellow, and green traffic light format. The avatar climbs back to its silk line and continues across the bubble's surface. The avatar insists that Murray is mindful of the ripples, watching her meticulously and ensuring she is aware of the repercussions. After she is taught to create a temporal sphere, the avatar wishes Murray well and vanishes. As a massive temporal swells and flows in Murray's direction, she looks at the glowing shiny object ricochets and bounces wildly inside the orb. She wonders if the orb needs to be held to use its power. She's surprised to remember everything that was taught, but who's going to believe it? Even after everything that's happened, she thinks of her mom and dad. They were watching the game and have no idea she's even alive. The temporal ripple is now a tsunami wave upon her, and it swells over her in slow motion. Hooray knows she can't stop the inevitable, but the unknown can be kind of scary.
Hmm. All right, y'all, I'm back. So, as you heard today, you're learning about what happens in the Gifts of Power ceremony. Each one of the characters are going through an enlightenment period. They're learning about their abilities. They're also learning about consequences, and if certain things don't happen, they're learning that the threat is bigger than just planetary. There's all kind of little gems. I call them gems, little gems that I'm dropping along the way. All right. Um, so we was on friction, right? And the young lady that left El Paso, Texas, right? She was playing softball at America's High School, and the orb hit her while she was at bat. So what she did, right? She was transported from, and to the human eye, it like she was overcome by light, and maybe she disintegrated or something. It's just that she wasn't screaming when it happened. It was more like it's happening. You know what I mean? So basically, I guess you think you're getting ready, something's happening to you. You close your eyes, and when you open it, she's no longer on the softball field. She opens her eyes, and she's in a realm that she can't even like process. But what she does see is that she's standing on some type of bubble or something, right? The consistency of it, and it's terrifying. She notices she has an orb in her hand, right? Even though you got struck by the orb, you still got it in your hand. You can't even technically drop it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there. Um, and it's your whole world right now because it's the only thing that you know. Well, not know. It's the only thing that you have from the place you came from. You got hit by the orb, you transported from there to this new realm, and you're protected though. You can breathe, you can go through all of that. So what she's doing is she's learning. And I didn't really want to tell you guys what the character looked like because later in book ah no, it's not in book 2, y'all. It's in book 3. I remember looking at it earlier. Okay, so there's some multiversal heroes that are already here on Earth, and we will learn about them soon. But I try to give you guys some insight by letting you know that even though she's from the planet, correction, even though she's the protector of Scorpio, there was an avatar moving on what she believes to be a string, or was it webbing? You feel me? That's what I'm saying. On silk. So spiders are known to spin silk, right? That's what that avatar that she's talking to or she's taking instructions from, that avatar spins silk. That's me letting you know that avatar spins silk. Now, later in book 3, when we get to that character, I will notify everybody and say, hey, this is the character that she saw. Okay. And they become good friends, y'all. They become good friends, believe it or not. Um, what else? Okay, so we know that the orb she got is called the time. I misspell stuff all the time. I do it purposely. I like to substitute the Y for the I. So in time, we spell time Tyhme. Okay, and it's bolded so you guys know that I meant to do that. I make up a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. Da, 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 da. So it basically, um, anybody can save the universe, y'all. It's not like a chosen. Um, it's more of if you have the intellectual, not properties, but you have the intelligence, and it's based. You're chosen more on desire. Okay, and when you were born, so your desires can't be selfish. They can be to an extent, but you can't be. Put it like this: if there were people outside now and somebody was shooting, I wouldn't run out there and save nobody, even though I got a pistol. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if the people that was shooting leave and there's somebody out there hurting, then I will go and help that person. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like that self-preservation, yeah, it's a big deal, but you can't be so into self-preservation that you won't reach out and save somebody else. It's kind of like what it is, y'all. I mean, you're a hero, you're a hero. You're anti-hero, you still pretty much you don't want somebody to suffer through, whatever. All right. And what else? What happened? So remember, I was telling y'all about those ripples, right? So she's standing on the bubble thing, and she's being most ripples are gentle and flow with the stream of time, but sometimes there are temporal splays. Splays. A severe temporal splay can warp time and disrupt continuity, shifting and altering the time stream. Now, I know you guys have already watched the Avengers. All right. The ancient one already explained this. So I didn't think I needed to go through and explain it so in depth, like with the whole timeline. I didn't think I needed to explain it. Instead of me using an actual timeline, what we're using is ripples. And ripples are more circular in nature than they are straight lines. Okay. So time can flow like a river, but there are things that can alter that time. So imagine if you know how we skip rocks? Those we when we skip rocks over the surface of water, that would be considered a splay. If you tap water, so when friction moves around, it's more like she just tapped the water and made a small ripple. Because remember, she's temporal, she's chronotemporal, right? Intuitive. She, not the intuitive part, but she's using time to do things that we shouldn't be using time for, even though she has the ability and she's been granted permission through the inverter. What I'm saying is she doesn't go and make splays. A splay would be something that's not supposed to happen. So hypothetically, um, there's some fate going on. Remember, these are the lords of chaos versus the lords of order. Okay, there's some stuff that's going to happen where friction is going to be pulled out of her norm. Right, there'll be splays throughout time because of what's coming. I can't really tell you guys because we haven't got the book there yet. um, I just need you guys to kind of feel that and hold on. There'll be so many more things that's happening as we go. These are more like book 1 and 2 is more of a big introduction to something that's brand new that I need you guys to feel. So it's kind of pretty much why I made the audio books for book 1 and 2. I know it almost seems like, hey man, you almost giving this away. I'm not giving it away, but I need people who are used to, we used to Marvel, we used to the big guys out there. Every time something new comes, it has to be scrutinized first. It has to be looked over and watched, making sure that, we at least follow some type of continuity, a timeline, or some type of structure. So that's why I gave book 1 and 2, or I made the audio book so people can hear it and be like, okay, you're giving so much insight. That's probably why he says these characters can fight these characters. You know what I mean? I got to give you something. All right. Okay. I got to give you something. So this is what I'm giving book 1 and 2. And these are the things that's happening. Now, like I said, the Gifts of Power ceremony, Everybody's there. They just don't intermingle with each other, but they do leave thoughts behind, stuff like that. And you're gonna find out about ingenuity and all that, as time goes, because Gravtate now has ingenuity. So if you take a look at Gravtate's costume, and look at all the Earthlings' costumes. Let me put them up. Let's bring this off. Let's put this up. If you look at everybody's costume, Blurt is supposed to be either green, gray, or brown. Okay? But because he was exposed to all, now I know insects have a whole bunch of color and all that, but not on their world. Okay, they not into all this flamboyancy and stuff that humans do. Okay, they're not into all of that. They into surviving. They work. They dig. You know what I mean? They look like ants and stuff, right? Like the basic color. Um, but because he was exposed to ingenuity of humans, now he has flair. He has savoir faire. You feel what I'm saying? Look at his costume. It makes sense to him now. You know what I mean? He's color coordinated and everything now. So the humans shared that, and that's going to show later. Okay, that's definitely going to show later when we start talking about like in book 3 and 4. Y'all gonna start understanding like, oh, that's what he meant by ingenuity. He said, oh, the aliens, you know what I mean? They don't talk the way we talk and stuff. So there, like I said, y'all, I put a lot of work into what I did. I try to keep each character in their own, um, let's say in their own lanes. Try not to blur the lines and whatnot. It just like each time I get ready to write about one of the characters, I have to go back and read so much through books 1, 2, and 3. Because remember, I'm on book 5 now. So I have to go back and read books 1, 2, and 3 to make sure I keep that character in their lane so that you guys can start getting a feel for at least your zodiac character. All right. So remember I told you guys about the stoplight effect, right? It just to me it made so much sense, right? I'm a kid. I'm 17 years old. I need something that I'm familiar with. So let's just say she had a chance to pick all types of different ways that she wanted to recognize what needed to be done, but she chose the stoplight because why? Red, yellow, green. We're brought up like that, you know. You can cross the street when the light turns green. You see what I'm saying? That means that's more safe. If it's red, yellow, you need to be cautious, and red means stop, like pay attention. Um, so we get down here and it says, okay, so it says right here, it says shifting and alternate time. The avatar reiterates how important it is to navigate between the ripples. So when she uses her super speed and she makes a ripple, she has to move before the second ripple starts, right? So she's moving. You know how the first ripple, the wave moves out, right? The ripple moves out. But then before that second ripple moves, she's moving up between those. That's how you got to kind of look at her. She's moving between seconds, if you will. Um, so it says from okay, then the avatar stops and hangs from the strands of silk. It points. Here we go with the strip, the sands of strip, the strands of silk again. It points to a specific moment and speaks. In this moment, there are three objects. Each is colored differently. For time to continue normally, only two can be disrupted. If the third object is destroyed or not allowed to continue forward, it may cause a temporal split. Now, if you glowing red and she don't save you, that means something bad just happened. That's what that means. And ladies and gentlemen, we will get to that later in life, right? As the books carry on, things like that will happen. I mean, it technically there's no way she can stop it. So these things will occur, y'all. Okay, so it says, okay, if the third object is destroyed or not allowed to continue, okay, yeah, make temporal split. This will disrupt the temporal flow of time, which you cannot allow to happen. If time basically, think about what we're saying, y'all. If times get stuck, think about that, right? Remember, this is flux, y'all. This ain't like what everybody else make. This is flux. So if time gets stuck, what does that mean for everybody else, y'all? What does that mean for everybody else? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna write it for you. Okay. So Marae understand is given a color scheme. She chooses a red, yellow, and green, and I put traffic light format because that's how she knows. The avatar climbs back into his silk line and continues across the bubble surface. Basically, y'all, The the avatar is teaching her how to move. Well, yeah, how to move through time, how to transition, um, the pros and the cons, what she can and can't do, what must not happen, like a major splay. Like a little splay, she probably can course correct it. You know what I mean? She probably can do something to affect that. Um, will there be a time that she can? I'm thinking about it, y'all. I don't really want to go down the Flash route because she's temporal, right? Friction is extremely fast, y'all. And if you ever paid attention to her stats, she can run like 3, 4 thousand miles an hour. That's just how fast she can run without the temporal sphere. Okay, that's just her moving. She can run that fast anyway. But what she tries to do is use the temporal sphere because she's not using it. She'll tear the concrete up. I mean, and again, you guys got to understand. You can't again. I do the physics of the superheroes. That's what I do. Like you can't be strong enough to punch a planet and destroy a planet. Excuse me. You can't be strong enough to destroy a planet, okay? And then at the same time, you live on that planet. I mean, and if you do, you need to have some type of structure that can take the abuse from you. I mean, if you bump into a house, you might knock a house down, right? If you punch a planet, this is you. This is your strength level. Me as a human, I can only punch so hard. We got the basketball thing at the carnivals, right? So imagine somebody superhuman, like I don't want to say Superman, but let's say the Sentry and all those guys who you're supposed to have the strength of, and I know it sounds good. It sounds good. It's not me hating y'all. It sounds great the way they say it. You have the power of 1,000 exploding suns, and you can't beat one guy who just absorbs solar energy from a star. I need y'all to feel me on that. So to me, Sentry shouldn't have a problem with Superman because he has the power of 1,000 exploding suns. What's that equivalent to? I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is if this one star we have up in the sky, the one that's not really shining today because it's rainy outside, that star, if that star blew up, this whole solar system is gone. That's why I say like 1,000 exploding stars. I mean, do you know how much power that is? I mean, we got one star, and it's not even one of the big stars. So imagine that. It just, y'all, I look at the physics of the stuff we're doing. Um, I just I don't believe, I saw something, shout out to my man Benny, man. I mean, I didn't really want to I don't know if you guys know about the comic historian and all of that. Um, yeah, I was just watching Comics Explained yesterday. Cause again, I'm into this stuff. I told you I'm a sci-fi guru. And we was watching Superman. He got in a fight with Bizarro. And Bizarro was enhanced with some magic or something. But basically what happened is Bizarro hit Superman. And by the time Superman recovered, he was on the planet Venus. So what I'm saying is, if Doomsday hit you and it didn't knock you into another planet, the strength that Bizarro displayed, to me, you should have been on near death's bed, right? I'm just saying, y'all. It's kind of how you look at the physics of the superhero world, right? Everything's not gonna be saved. Everything can't be like a do-over. Um, and you have to keep the continuity. So with my characters, I'm attempting to keep them strong enough to deal with gravitational influxes and stuff out in space. But when they get into fights and stuff, I mean, what hurts you today, unless you evolve or something along the way, um, that should be able to hurt you next time. So I'm trying to keep that type of continuity. It's like when one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles get hurt, whatever hurts one can hurt all four of them. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Um, that's kind of how I look at it, y'all. I just saw that the other day on Comics Explained, and I was like, Bizarro hit him and knocked him to Venus. So while he was traveling from Earth to Venus, you mean to tell me he couldn't stop? How hard did he get hit? And my mind started analyzing and started doing the logic for it. And if Doomsday was that guy, I mean, I'm not saying this if you can throw something to Venus, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know the science of that, y'all. They do have a couple of shows out there on podcasts that actually do. They actually do the form. They say it takes this much strength or this much power to take something that's 200, 230 pounds, and then they'll do the math and the velocity. So basically, in 3 seconds, he traveled from Earth all the way to Venus. That's what they saying. They saying like in less than 5 seconds, when after getting hit, he traveled from Earth all the way to Venus, and then he tried to shake it off. So these other podcasts, they do the formula on the weight, the speed, and the force it took to push that speed. Okay, so I don't necessarily get into that. My mind does a little analyzing, but I'm thinking like that's impossible. Maybe it was the magic too. Maybe the magic caused it. You know what I mean? So I try to find ways to make it better. But I just think that maybe they should have explained that part. Maybe Superman should have been like, his magic is great or something. Anyway, and again, maybe the comic explained, maybe he wasn't really going through all of that. Maybe that was, irrelevant or transparent. But that's kind of the stuff I look at when I'm writing. I'm looking at how the physics of things are working. So when I look at friction and I say she has to move between the seconds, I'm serious about that. Like, she has to make stuff happen fast. Otherwise, you can go from red. Well, no, you can go from green to red in a second. So whatever hue, aura that you projecting when she's moving at super speed, it determines like what she needs to do. If you're red, she needs to save you. If you're green, you're good. You feel me? All right. I think that's pretty much how I put it up. As a master temperable swells and flow. Okay, so basically, if you guys notice, each one of the characters, they're being overcome right before they're transported back. And it's more of the horizon or the environment they're in is just collapsing again back into the orb, and then it's taking them with them. So if you was thinking that's what's going on, maybe I should have said that. Um, everything that she's surprised she remembers everything that she was taught, but who's going to believe a kid? Yada yada yada. Yeah, okay, nah, but the unknown can be kind of scary. Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end, y'all. Who's going to believe a kid? Yeah, yeah. That brings us pretty much to the end of Murray. Tomorrow we'll be in the post, y'all. The electromagnetic guy. If you again, to my long-term people who've been around since day ones, the people who've been, not necessarily my age, but who actually get into comics and sci-fi the way I do. If you guys remember the blue and the red Superman, do anybody remember that? Superman turned into energy. I forgot why. One of them, him, was red, and I guess that guy, he wasn't cold. He was Superman, but he was more stern about it. And then you had the blue Superman, who was more of a he was made out of energy. Both of these guys were made out of energy, and he was cooler. You know what I mean? He was more helpful. He was not passive, but he wanted to find alternate ways to do something. So basically, it was more or less Superman's true personality, right? That's kind of how Pulse is, not with the personality, but he's more like, even though he can become human, right? He can become physical. It's all about electromagnetics. So with electromagnetics, y'all, you can lift extremely heavy stuff with electromagnetics. You can travel extremely fast. Think about the magnetic rail that they have in China, right? We need one of those here in America to get across the state. They say it's like over 3,000 miles, but was it 15,000 miles? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look it up. But just hey, just a little heads up. You can do so many things with electromagnetic. So again, Pulse will be tomorrow. So for all you guys who are Tauruses and whatnot, tomorrow we'll be taking care of you guys, right? Showing you some love. Today was a Scorpion day. We found out Scorpios and whatnot, and some. Okay. I know you guys don't know this. Some of these characters, okay, they display some of the. Okay, so some of the alien life forms, depending on what constellation they come from, they display some of the abilities of your zodiac guardian. Okay, now are they OP like that? No. Are no, but they display it. So hypothetically, if I was an Aries guy, I would be what they call it, pyrokinetic. Yeah, there we go. You guys seen Firestarter, right? Not Brooke Shields. It wasn't Brooke Shields. It was I forgot the girl's name. Um, when I was a kid, it was a movie called Firestarter. It was basically about a father who's trying to protect his daughter from this. You know how it is, y'all. The facility, the underground or the black ops facility or something. And his daughter had she was pyrokinetic. So she can cause things to combust and burst into flame and all types of stuff. That's what I mean. Like one of the alien life forms might be able to display fire abilities or fire like abilities if she's from Aries or he's from Aries. Okay. Hey, just giving you guys a heads up because remember, this is a battle to save the universe, not one dimensional universes. That means like, and stay with me, y'all. Stay with again. I'm not hating the DC realm. Okay. The DC realm is considered one universe to me. Now, does the DC have multiverse? Yes, they do. But that multiversal realm in the flux continuum is different. So what we have is one universe, and everything is encompassed in this one universe. Okay. Now, what you have is a multiverse, and multiverses are influenced by zodiac constellations. There are only 12 omniverses, right? And the omniverse is a collection of multiverses, right? And each one of these omniverses is influenced by one of the zodiac constellations. So this helps me in that you could be born a Scorpio, but under like a Leo moon. This is how I got that concept. Okay, this is kind of how I did it. So you could be born in a Scorpio influence omniverse, but you might be a Leo. You feel what I'm saying? You're still a Leo, but you're a Leo that was born under the Scorpio sun, however that's done, the Scorpio moon. I just need y'all to kind of feel that. And I got this from listening to people talk about astrology and all these different ways, and I was like, I need to come up with a way like that, but that's sci-fi, and that's what I came up with. So there are 12 omniverses, each one influenced by one of the constellation or the zodiac, and you can and each one of those zodiacs have every zodiac up under, even though you're under a Scorpion influence or you're under a Sagittarius influence or whatever. Okay, you're still whatever you were, okay, in that influence or in that multiverse. Just throwing it out there. Now, and also in my multiverse, you could be a Pisces, and then let's say if I run into myself or run into somebody that's got my same name, same parents, and the whole nine, and they're under like cancers or whatever, they might not be a Pisces. They might be a Sagittarius or something, but they're still me. I'm just, they wasn't born on the same day though. They wasn't born February 29th. They was born February 28th. They was born March the 1st. You feel what I'm saying? Or they were born later in the year. The point is they are me, but it's a true multiverse. It's not me running around and all of me are the Hulk. No, all of me can't be the Hulk. There's somebody else that's supposed. That's what the multiverse is about. Now, one big caveat about flux when it comes to the flux continuum, what I like to do, I like to look at the multiverse as you're completely different. Um, in some universes or in some publications they talk about the multiverse is a decision you made whether to go left or right, and then that's a world and that's another no, we don't do that in flux. That's too much, y'all. I mean, we just looking at our planet. I mean, if we do it right and we look and say, hey, there are other planets that might have life on them. And if there's other planets out there that might have life on them, then those people, every time they make a left or a right, that's and that's too much. There could be 70 billion planets out here. We just don't know. They got life on them that think, that are intelligent. We just don't know. And out of all those 7 billion, each one of those, you telling me every time they make a left or a right, that's a different, no, no. So we don't do that in the flux continuum. There's certain things that need to happen in life. That's why we came up with the red, yellow, and green for friction, so she can understand what's going on. If the person is red, that means it's got to happen. If the person is green, that means somebody else later down the line can possibly end up doing it. Do you feel what I'm saying? So just because you decide to leave home and you got in an accident, that didn't change the multiverse. And then let's say What if you would have had to run back in the house and then you came back out and you got in the car and then you come around the corner and you see an accident that you probably would have been in? That don't change the multiverse. It just means you wasn't in an accident. If something was supposed to happen, like you were supposed to be like hurt real bad, and that hypothetical, I'm gonna use myself, y'all. So I got out the military, right? And I was getting ready to go work for Raytheon. What if I didn't get cancer? See, that would change the multiverse. Cancer is something that changed everybody around me. I got to meet all these new people. It wasn't necessarily meeting; they had to take care of me, right? I got a nurse that came in. These are things to me that changed the multiverse. They had to be pivotal in changing the multiverse. You can't just do what you want to. It just doesn't work like that. It just every little decision. You're not that important. But if you're that important in that instance, that means your body glows red. So if I'm at some type of the Hadron Collider, let's say I'm there, right, in Switzerland, and I turn the button on, they explode, and the whole Hadron Collider explode. That would alter the multiverse because again, I took a lot of people with me. It's a whole bunch happened. But if I hit the button and nothing happens, then we don't go left or right. We just continue on that same time stream. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Um, yeah, but that's about it, y'all, for today. Like I said, we'll be here kicking it with Post tomorrow. I know I got long-winded, y'all. My bad, my bad, my bad. I tried not to. I told y'all I tried not to. But look, this is what's happening. We're getting ready to leave. Well, I'm getting ready to end this broadcast or this stream. Just wanted you guys to know what's going on with Flux. We did the Gifts of Power ceremony. We on the third person today. We did Aquarius, we did Aries, and we did Scorpio. So tomorrow we'll jump Taurus. So that'll be the fourth one. And all of this is happening in the Gifts of Power, and you'll see it's a lot of similarities between each of the characters if you stay with me. All right, so tomorrow we'll go ahead and get into Pulse, and then after Pulse, next Thursday we'll get into Intake. All right, y'all have a good night. Well, good night. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate the love. Um, Remember to check out my stores. If you're not on Whatnot, then hey, and yeah, I'm gonna put some more stuff out there like these t-shirts and stuff, y'all. If you're not on Whatnot and you're on one of these other platforms, then make sure you remember to go to flux-zodiac.com. You can find it moving around up here at the top. Check me out. If it's something you like, you can support by purchasing some merch or something. Thank you. Thank you for showing your love today. I appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. TGIF.